The year was 2000. Everybody had Pokemon cards. Nobody knew how to play it. Except for me, because I had a secret weapon. Hey, you wanna play? You don't even know what you're doing. Your deck's got like energies and other useless garbage in it. You dumb bitch. Okay, so they made a video game, and then they made a card game based on the video game. Then they made a video game based on the card game that was based on the video game. And it slaps! Pokemon Trading Card Game was released on the Game Boy Color in '98 in Japan, and 2000 everywhere else. And then in 2014 on the 3DS Virtual Console. Developed by Hudson Soft. You know, the Bomberman folks? Pokemon TCG is... well, do I even need to say it? It's in the title! You play Pokemon cards. And it was actually the thing that originally taught me how to play the game. And I went on to get second in my first tournament. And then second last in my second tournament. And then I stopped going to tournaments. In Pokemon TCG, much like a main series Pokemon game, you take the role of some weeb-ass kid and you gotta go around to the 8 gyms, or clubs, beat their respective gym leaders, or club masters, to obtain their badges, or medals, to eventually fight the Elite Four, or Grandmasters, and win the legendary cards. Now, unlike a lot of other TCG video games, this one doesn't dumb down or change up the way the game's played.
Looking at you, sacred cards!
It's a legit no-cut corners card game. And the first full 3 sets are included, along with a couple promos. One of which came with the game, which I don't have, because it's $40. It's a mouth. The card art's even represented, like, really well here. Considering the limitations, like, I have 0 complaints. They're pretty. They're pretty, man. Now, the card game's really simple. In fact, I find it the least complex of the big 3 TCGs. The point of the game is to collect all your prize cards. You draw one every time you knock out one of your opponent's Pokemon. The game starts by drawing 7 cards. You both place a basic Pokemon face down in the middle of the field as your active Pokemon that's gonna fight, first. Along with up to 5 basic Pokemon on your bench. These guys are runners-up for when your active Pokemon's taken out. You then place your 6 prize cards from the top of your deck. Flip a coin to see who goes first, and then you flip your Pokemon over. Each Pokemon has HP, attacks that have an energy cost and damage amount, weakness, resistance, and retreat cost. You can attach 1 energy per turn to a specific card, and once the energy cost has been met on the card, you can use that attack once during your turn. The energies stay on your card though, you don't use them up unless the attack specifically says so. Colorless energies can be met with any color of energy. Damage and HP is pretty self-explanatory, no? Except having a weakness to your opponent's type doubles the damage on you, whereas resistance reduces the damage by 30 to a minimum of 0. You can't do, negative damage. Retreat cost is the amount of energies attached to that Pokemon you need to discard in order to swap them out with a benched Pokemon if you choose to do so prior to being knocked out. Now, not all cards have all these. Some don't have weaknesses or resistances or have a free retreat cost. Some attacks don't even have an energy cost. Some have Pokepowers that are passively active, or you can use them multiple times in a turn. They can do a wide array of things. They all explain exactly what they do, though. There are also secondary effects on attacks, like paralysis that stops them from attacking on their next turn, or poison that damages the Pokemon between turns. You can evolve your Pokemon too if you have the next stage in your hand. The previous evolution needs to have been on the field for at least 1 turn, though. Evolutions generally have more HP and stronger, more energy-expensive attacks, but that's the trade-off for, having to have the basic Pokemon there first, you know what I mean? Oh, and trainer cards, they generally tell you what they do. From healing Pokemon, to searching your deck for stuff, to removing energies from your opponent's Pokemon. Super mean, man, don't do that, the homies hate this. Alternative win conditions are if you defeat your opponent's active Pokemon while they have nothing on the bench.
You hear that, Connor, you fucking cheat?
Or if they run out of cards in the deck and can't draw at the start of the turn. A majority of trainers you fight in this game have a basic deck theme and don't run much of a compelling strategy, but then a small handful of them run some real spicy shit, man. Like Ryan using Aerodactyl's Pokepower to stop evolutions before punching your teeth in with Hitmonchan. Or Murray limiting you to small attacks with Mr. Mime's Pokepower before using Alakazam's to space out damage onto big HP sponges before yoinking them back to his hand with Pokemon Center, removing all the damage. Yeah, Psychic types are just fucked everywhere in Gen 1, man. There's no getting away from it. Actually, if you know anything about the early TCG meta, you should know about Haymaker and Rain Dance decks, and they're just as viable in this. In fact, I gave up on an honest deck in the last stretch and just fucked everyone to death with Hitmonchan and Scyther. Each club has a master and 3 underlings hanging out that are pretty easy to beat and you get new cards from them. Except for Mitch's gym. His name rhymes with what he is. an asshole. You get packs of cards from beating people, and you're free to tweak your deck really whenever, including between fighting the Grandmasters. Imagine if they gave us a PC between each member of the Elite Four. The packs favor the type from the gym you got it from too, so you can really Mega Man it and play whatever club is weak to what you just got a bunch of. You can even save multiple decks if you've got the cards for it. Oh, and Imakuni's in the game. He's some sort of Japanese musician that was just like, kinda in the card game at one point, for like whatever reason. Yeah, he's definitely done some work for Pokemon. He's like, worked on the anime and stuff, but he also just like, in the early TCG was just kinda like, in there. Fucking weirdo. Oh, and just like in the core games, you've got a rival. You can't name him this time, they took the pleasure of calling him Ronald. Watch out for his I'm Ronald, Powerful Ronald, and Legendary Ronald decks. You'll always be ass flaps to me. Oh, and spoilers, as if you didn't see this coming, but he's the end boss that you have to duel to get the legendary cards, while they're already in his friggin' deck. And then when you beat him, they like dissolve out of his deck, because he's unworthy, like they're sentient and all-powerful. Don't leave me. I love how if you lose to a Grandmaster, the dude is like, I'm sorry, but you have to leave. Like I just shat on the floor at Wendy's or something. It might feel blunt because of the translation. Not that I ran into much broken English or anything like that. All the opponents have such normie names. They have John and Jonathan in the same room. Like, they weren't paid enough to care. But other than a few funny observations like that, some decks being kinda mean, the coin flips, I swear to God, are rigged as hell. Not always against your favor, but definitely not full RNG. The game is actually fantastic. I come back to it a lot. If you like the TCG or TCGs in general, this is that on a cartridge. Nowadays there's the Pokemon TCG Online if you've got an itch to scratch that contains up-to-date cards and actual human opponents at the expense of the expense. And it also doesn't have a soundtrack that slaps this damn hard.
This is the pause menu.